it was just yesterday that we were trading down at 10K. So this is a huge monumental rise in Bitcoin and crypto as a whole, right? A lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people were very, very confident. Others were laughing, right? Like at this potential of cryptocurrency. And we're trading not just 100K, but just above it. We nearly tagged $104,000 US dollars for the first time as a bumper rally continues in the aftermath of the US election. We're up about nearly 50% since November 5th. The election, and the ride has been a wild one with Bitcoin and the crypto markets as a whole, with the most recent catalyst stemming from President-elect Donald Trump's nomination of Paul Atkins, a crypto-friendly former regulator, to take the helm of the SEC. And we've seen a lot of quotes, and we've seen a lot of breakdown from different analysts and whatnot. And then this is what Ken and Mel says: if Donald Trump's plan to create Bitcoin strategic reserve is implemented and other countries quickly follow suit, it could significantly increase overall demand for Bitcoin, and this could make Bitcoin worth over $400,000 per coin within the next 5 years. Just like gold, Bitcoin is decentralized and inflation resistant. That might retain the value better than the US dollar in some cases. Now, this is not my saying, right? I'm just reading some quotes out here. $400,000 is pretty crazy, right? I think a lot of people are eyeballing that 250K marker, as it looks like, it seems like we're entering this like strong bull market in the equity space. And here I'm just trying to pull something up. I'll show you on the camera. The Salvadoran president Nayib Bukele, he this is on Twitter, right? I don't know like if you can see this, but it's just like from my phone, posting his wallet, his holdings. So this is a big ass number, $603 million. Not quite $1 billion, but total profit, right? I don't know if you can see that, but it's like, you probably can't see it. It's like 333 million, right? Unrealized 333 million, total invested 269 million, over 269 million dollars, US dollars. And look at the portfolio graph. You can probably see that realistically, the blue line just shooting to the upside. So the Salvadoran president just posting his country's portfolio casually on Twitter. So pretty funny stuff. The crypto space is taking everything by storm. And the DeFi goal, right? We've seen a lot of, this is from Rights Research. We personally are of the opinion that Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general are most likely to be assigned to the greater fool theory. One can question whether Bitcoin is actually decentralized. The study suggests that 75% of cryptocurrency volume is on exchanges, while at the same time there is a large concentration, centralization among miners and developers. So we believe that they're particularly problematic as they are high volatility. And Bitcoin is not widely used in everyday life, even as a safe haven during panic like in 2020. Bitcoin plunged during the depths of an ongoing financial panic. So we see that some people look at it from a perspective of a store of value from simple investment ideas. They say that the potential for widespread corporate balance sheet adoption is especially compelling given the current macroeconomic environment where inflation concerns remain persistent and fixed income yields remain attractive. MSTR MicroStrategy's success is providing a tantalizing blueprint for other corporations to replicate its strategy in order to protect and even grow their treasury reserves in an era of monetary uncertainty. Well, MSTR, right, it's MicroStrategy is like a super giga leveraged pretty much ETF of Bitcoin. Yesterday, one of my friends, good trader, options and equity space, said she was long calls on MSTR when it was trading like 380s. Maybe I should have tailed her on that, but doing pretty well this morning and checked it out. She's probably pretty happy about that. But they're very deep into like the leverage of Bitcoin. They just like keep buying and buying and buying. I think at this point it might even be over leveraged. This thing's up like hundreds and hundreds of percent in the last few months alone, doing a split because it's just so freaking expensive at this point. And we've seen like Main Street adaptation and adoption of Bitcoin. There's a great entry point. The regulatory environment for cryptocurrencies is more favorable favorable with the current composition of presidency, Senate, and House. But there are other factors that make me even more confident. The Bitcoin ETF has exceeded $104 billion in assets and are expected to surpass gold soon, which seems to suggest an influx of institutional investors to a certain degree. So it's a very speculative asset. We haven't necessarily seen some consistent correlations with whether it's inflation, equities, or I guess inverse correlation with equities, whatever the case may be. We don't necessarily have that much information on what's going on under the hood, but realistically, we can't deny that this thing's on a freaking monster rally, and it doesn't necessarily look like it's going to stop very soon. We're in a position right now to see the potential of cryptocurrency expansion. I think that some of the bigger names like Ether, Sol, and like even some of the bigger memes, quote unquote, even XRP is getting some juice, right? I think that we're entering a period of bullish momentum and, right, potentially another one of those stronger multi-month bull rallies in crypto as influxes of money are just starting to cut. Well, not just starting, but are still pretty strong in the space. Now, Bitcoin crypto, like the equity market, has been on a frickin' monster tear. We made all-time highs yesterday, not only on the S&P, because that seems to do all-time highs every frickin' day, but also on the NASDAQ futures. Right now, we're in a space where we're getting incremental higher highs, and all-time highs are like pretty difficult to trade, honestly. You don't have that much new information. People are looking at this thinking, oh my god, it can't continue to go up, and are trying to short all-time highs, which like eventually you'll probably be right, but at that point, like how much cash have you burned? So when you're trading into all-time highs and the space that's going on right now, looking at the individual profiles that are shaping up is like the best information that you have. Every single day of a profile, every overnight session of a profile gives you more information to play with and to pretty much hypothesize any kind of trade breakdown. Remember yesterday we talked about the midpoint around that 74.75 being that immediate pullback area for the continuation of the long side. And from there, we rallied a strong 30 points on the S&P. It's a similar case right now where we're trying to develop a distribution into the upside, into these all-time highs, which this distribution could theoretically start shaping up around that higher 70, all the way up to even 6,100. Right now, I'm going to be using the information that I have from the prior day session because it's pretty much all I've got. The overnight doesn't really leave me with much. We have a low volume to heavy volume drop off the edge of the balance right here at this like 60.88. So that's going to be my main interest for initial support, and then we have the next area where the balance low is, down into that mid to high 70s. So those are two areas where I'd be interested to look for those longs realistically. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised to see some kind of downside today. It is looking a little frothy. The buy side's looking a little exhausted, especially into the close yesterday with some sellers coming in. Some heaviness of volume into the close yesterday, and we're holding under it. I'm not saying that let's just hammer this thing on the short side, but I think that we could get a little pullback to find better buyers and just create a better balance into these highs going into tomorrow's session. Tomorrow pre-market, we have the non-farm payroll. So I'll leave it with that. We'll open up our live trading room and we'll digest the information as it comes to us in there and break things down. But into these all-time highs, I want to be very, very nimble. Volatility is extremely low. You have the VIX trading back into the 13s, which is really low, so you want to really, really be careful. It's December right now. You're into the last month of the year. Last month of the year it won't make your year, but it can sure screw it up. So be very careful with that. Trading into all-time highs, allow the market to give you the information, tell you what it wants to do. So let's open up our live trading room. Thanks for listening, guys. We're going to be going live tomorrow again. And let's wrap up the week tomorrow. Friday, fun day, Friday, buy day, however the saying goes. Bitcoin 100,000 TRADEPRO Academy podcast relaunched today. You guys can go listen to it. You can listen to it on our podcast website.